Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 16 in season number 6 of the NOFSRL Turkey Hill Truck Series. We are here at the Big Bad Talladega Super Speedway. It's the Cookout 250, a 24-lap event here today around this 2 2/3 mile super speedway in Talladega, Alabama. And we could see a champion crown today if the cards fall correctly. I'm alongside Marty Zakela for this one. Great to have you on board once again. Fisher G, all he needs to do is leave this race with an 81-point lead or higher, and he is your champion for the Turkey Hill Truck Series. 2 races early, just like Nathan Baird did in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series earlier this season. So what do you say to the guys who are behind him in points? Guys like Dan Parker, 70 points behind. Edwin Mendez, 72 points behind. Skylar Perry, 77 behind. What do you tell those guys to do in this race to stay in championship contention heading into Darlington on Saturday?
Well, friends, it's pretty simple. You've got to stay out in front as long as possible or near the front. You cannot be hanging out near the back like some drivers like to do to avoid the big one. I know it's risky, but if I'm one of those drivers that want to stay alive in the championship battle, you got to be racing near the front, whether it's coming into the low line or the high line. Got to be up in the front, and especially if you want to try and win this race, which is what all these drivers are here to do, right?
That is exactly what they're all trying to do. With only 4 races left in the year on Napa Fan, these guys want to end the year off with a race victory before we head into 2020. Of course, it's going to be a big year in 2020 with the Turkey Hill Series coming back and all that. And the NOFSRL's got a lot of big things planned. But for now, we're closing out 2019, closing out the decade on Napa Fan with Talladega, Darlington, and Homestead in the Turkey Hill Truck Series, and then the Christmas Eve 500 Christmas Eve morning from Daytona. But I mentioned the points a little bit while ago. Fisher G, the points leader, 424 points towards the championship. To put it into perspective, last year John Art won the championship with 454 points in a 17-race season. We have 18 races this year. Dan Park, 70 points behind. Edwin Mendez, 72 points behind. Skylar Perry, 77 points behind. And Cole Sampson, 81 points behind. All those guys have a chance, have pretty much an equal chance at getting the Fisher G, but it's a very low chance at getting the Fisher G before the end of the season, but it's still a mathematical chance. We saw in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series here back in August when Nathan Baird had a 100-point lead, came into this race, finished dead last, wrecked out early. We could see that at Fisher G, as Fisher G does start deep in the field for today's event. And starting on the pole for this race, it is the number 5 of Eli Brighton. I might be mistaken, but I believe it's his 3rd pole of the year here in the Turkey Hill Truck. He's been doing a great job in qualifying. Of course, he only has won 3 times before on Napa Fan. 2 of those times coming right here at Talladega. Alongside your man, Zachary Fitzwater, won the opening race of the season at Daytona. Good opportunity for Fitzwater to get his 2nd win of the season. Madison Tolles alongside the 99 of Josh Williamson. Of course, Williamson has been putting together a lot of strong runs as of late. We'll have to see if he can possibly get his first career Napa Fan win. Joe Rutkowski is alongside Dale Lightning in row number 3. Ace Garcia alongside Andrew Ross in row 4. Nicholas Samadio, who won here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series in August, alongside Chris Skinlard for row number 5. There's Skylar Perry, 77 points behind. Move through the field and check out the other championship contenders. Cole Sampson, 81 points behind there. Midway through the field, there's your points leader, Fisher G. All the way in the back, I believe he's starting in the 24th position. Dan Park, who's the closest driver to him in points, 70 points behind. Going to be starting in 26th. And then the other championship contender, Edwin Mendez, starting just ahead of those guys on the outside lane around the 18th position. All right, Marty. Got a lot of good drivers and a lot of drivers who could win this race here today. Who do you think is going to be in victory lane here in the Cookout 250 at Talladega?
I can't tell you, to be honest with you. It's Talladega. Anything can happen. Any of these drivers in this pack of trucks can win it here. It's going to be a fun one. 2 wide racing, 3 red racing. Any line can pretty much work here at this 2.66 mile super speedway. I know I got a root for my boy Fitzy, but anything can happen here, you know.
Anything and everything will happen. We saw a very interesting wreck in yesterday's Krispy Kreme Series finale as they were coming through the tri-oval. I believe it was Jonathan Logan cut down on championship contender Eric Miller. And lots of times when we see wrecks here at Talladega, they're going 4 wide. It was not a 4 wide situation. The driver just made an error, and that rarely happens. We've seen that twice in the past 2 races on NAPAFAM, because it also happened in Armory Digital, when Shane Lake moved into Cole Sampson, shot him in the outside wall through the tri-oval. So we'll have to see what happens. We might see another crazy wreck here. We see a lot of crazy things happen here at Talladega, because it's Talladega. Let's get this one started. The Cookout 250 is green. Race 16 is underway.
Already 3 wide for the race lead. Look at the 54 of Toll looking down low. She's going to the point already in turn 3. Look at this, already 3 wide racing.
Madison Toll pulls away to the race lead. Of course, you never know who's going to win this race until they reach the tri-oval, and we saw it happen yesterday. Tristan Allen was about to win his 17th career NAPAFAN race. Got passed as they were entering the tri-oval by Noah Cars, so anything is possible in these races, and especially off of turn number 4. You just never know when someone's going to make a pass right at the final stretch of the racetrack, and already single file for the top 5 positions. Eli Bright really fell back there in the number 5. Not entirely sure what happened to him, but our 2 guys who started on the front row are falling back on the outside lane as Madison Toll continues to lead the race here with Ace Garcia and Skylar Perry behind him. There's Matthew Logan in the 69, currently running 4th, and Sebastian Cucalon in the 5th position right there.
Cucalon doing a good job now. Already, not really an uncommon thing. Not really a common thing we usually see as we work lap 3 now. These drivers single file. You know, we kind of saw this in the New Era Cup Series race a few days ago at Talladega. But that was later on in the race where these drivers were going single file and just trying to play it safe. Surprisingly, that middle line in the turns not working out. No one trying to play it safe until right now. A lot of drivers making moves. Oh.
And we've seen some very interesting racing this season, the trucks on the super speedways. Of course, guys have been dominating races, and Madison Toll has led both laps so far. Rarely do you see a driver lead multiple laps in a row here at Talladega. But the racing at Daytona Lake saw 2 different leaders in that race back in September, and of course on Friday, McAngelo Nwangu led half of the race to come home with his 2nd win of the season. And right there on that lap, it's good old-fashioned Talladega, 2 lead changes in 1 lap. Matthew Logan at the line for lap number 3. Remember, lead a lap, you get a bonus point towards the championship. Now, kind of hard to focus on the points right now because everyone's all over the place in this race, but once we get the finishing results, we might be able to determine if Fisher G is going to be your champion or not. He's doing a good job right now, moving his way on the inside lane, and all he needs is an 81-point lead on the rest of the field, and he is the champion in season number 6 of the NOFSRL Turkey Hill Truck Series. Very interesting season for Fisher G, though. He hasn't even won a race here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series, but he's got a 70-point lead on the field, which is how consistent those guys have been, but they just haven't been able to find victory lane, and I know these guys want to get a race victory, albeit at Talladega, maybe one of the places where anyone can win, but still, a win is a win. We'll have to see what Fisher G can do, but we're seeing it again. These guys fan out single file. These guys are not doing that 2-wide, 3-wide pass for the race lead as frequently as they usually do. What do you think's going on out here?
I think these drivers are just trying to get a feel for their truck, you know. This is, you know, I know we had qualifying earlier on in the weekend, but this is like really the first time where we've seen all of these trucks in just one big pack together. They're just trying to get a feel for the truck, a feel for the draft right now. As you can see, again, 3 wide for the lead and 4 wide here. Talladega is one of those tracks where you can go 4 wide sometimes, just don't go 5.
Of course, we rarely see 5 wide because lots of times here at Talladega when we have 4 wide, they don't figure it out too well. That's Owen Miles getting stuck on the outside lane. We might want to watch out for this. It could get a little close right here. Kukalon, Matthew Logan, Matthew Brown, and around John Hart behind them! And Joe Rutkowski, Skylar Perry, and Jesse Turner involved as well. And the caution's gonna fly on lap number 6 of the race. A tough break for those drivers right there. Gonna have a race back to the line. Seth Cole in the number 52 has found his way to the race lead.
4 wide, Napa. It just doesn't work here, and I thought we may have seen it again. We do see it again. But maybe
that
for
is
a
at
split
the
second.
end of the field, so I would imagine they would figure that out, but we're going to focus on this race back to the line. Edwin Mendez, who won at Pocono, and Dan Park. They're both ahead of Fisher G right now, and they're both 1-2. They're the two closest guys to Fisher G in this championship, and they're in a pretty good position right now with Mendez winning the race back to the line. Gotta watch out for the cooldown lap, too. That's one thing about Talladega that's a little bit different than other places. See right there, Sam Idio and Josh Williamson going down on the apron, but they're slow enough where it's not going to become an issue, thankfully. So everybody gets out of the cooldown lap just fine. That's a 50-50. Flip a coin. Sometimes it doesn't work.
Going back to Mendez and Park, I think they may have talked before this race, maybe trying to figure out a strategy to work together in the draft to make sure they stay ahead of Fisher G and just hope Fisher G has a mistake in this air where he could be falling back big time like a rock.
And Dan Park has a really good chance at the championship. Of course, we had the Darlington on Saturday, and Dan Park won the Craftsman Throwback Series race there that we had back in August. So Dan Park, he's won a lot of races this year. He's been doing a great job, and if he can get a race victory here, he's probably going to be pretty strong at Darlington. As long as he has a shot at Homestead, he's got a shot, and you just got to think, what if Dan Park did not have that issue at Chicagoland on Black Friday? He started on the pole for that race, had to come down the pit lane on the first lap, finished dead last. If that didn't happen, he probably would be much closer to Fisher G heading into this race and would have a much better shot at the championship, but he's got to work for it. We'll have to see what he does as this race goes along, but first let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the caution here in the Cookout 250 at Talladega. Well, we were focusing on Owen Miles when all this occurred, but we had another four-wide situation unfold behind it. Joe Rutkowski got shuffled out of line, and Madison Toll had a run to the inside. You got Matt Tuck there on the inside, and John in the middle. And Toll right there in the 54 kind of cuts down just a little bit. And this is one of those four-wide situations where they just get a little close. It's usually off of the tri-oval where these guys have an issue, and it happens a lot at Armory Digital as well. And right there, Toll got into John Arnn and around with the 05. Thankfully, this was a mild accident. We've seen much, much worse here before. These guys basically just spun around, and I'd imagine these guys should be able to continue. No one took a really hard hit there, maybe except for Skylar Perry and Jesse Turner. They got caught up in this one late, but pretty mild accident for Talladega standards.
I agree.
And that's all Marty had to say.
Until
He's going to have to say a little bit more when we replay this one in real time.
So, thinking about this as well, maybe Toll was just trying to cut just in front of Skinlar to keep the draft going, but just was not clear of John Arndt. Around he goes, same with the 64 Rukowski, with nowhere to go, and then in comes Jesse Turner and Skylar Perry. Tough break for those four drivers. A four-car accident here at Talladega.
And I don't know if John Arndt got back around. He got trapped there on the apron, and I don't think he was able to get his truck back rolling. Everyone else drove away.
And that could put him possibly a lap down.
Yeah, it's a tough break for John Arndt. Had that win at Gateway earlier on. He's the winningest driver in this series because of that, but he's not even been a threat in the championship this year. Been a really odd season, but right there, the race back to the line, Mendez and Park came right through to the inside of Seth Cole, and they're your two race leaders right now here at Talladega. Let's go ahead and get to the restart here in the Cookout 250, race 16 of the season here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. We are back here at the Talladega Super Speedway, and a relatively short caution, especially compared to yesterday, I guess. Well, the caution came out on lap 6, and we're going to restart on lap 11. So that would be 5 laps?
About 4 laps under caution.
We have 4 laps under caution. I think we had 5 laps yesterday. I don't know. It always seems really long when we come to Talladega. I will say that.
Yeah, usually when we're at Talladega, it's 4 laps, but but unless it's like a caution that a wreck under caution, then I'll go up to 5 laps. I don't know.
And that's what usually happens. We usually get that wreck under caution, but we didn't, so they're able to go ahead and get this one restarted. Lap 11 of 24. Edwin Mendez, the race leader. But Dan Park, Shane Lake, Seth Cole, Matthew Brown, Trey Bartos up here, Matt Tuck, Trey Smith, Sebastian Kukalon, and Chase Marks going for his 3rd win of the season here. Only he and McAngelo and Nwengu have won multiple races this year, and points leader Fisher G currently in 11th. But the two guys who are closest to him in the points are 1-2 right now. They're led by Mendez. We're back to racing in the Cookout 250, and Dan Park.
Whoa!
That was an interesting move right there, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make the pass stick entering the corner. Usually that outside lane doesn't get the run, and now Dan Park has no help, and Mendez is going to come charging back on the inside.
What a risky move by the two. That was so close. I thought he was going to be able to clear down and get the lead. We've never seen anyone make a pass on the high side on a restart at Talladega before.
Shane Lake won at Chicagoland about a month ago. That was a huge win for him. He wants another one. And then number 77, here comes Trey Bartow. And I don't know if I've announced this on the channel yet, but Bartow going to be heading into his retirement season next year, the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Of course, he's been driving the number 4 over there every single season of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series in its existence. Gonna miss Trey Bartow, but he's still gonna be around, and he wants to get a win before the year ends. On that outside lane, though, he's gonna fall back. Shane Lake to the inside of Mendez, and here comes Fisher G with a huge run on the inside, and he's doing a great job managing this race, getting a good run.
Yeah, you know, that restart that Park had, I think that affected Mendez and Park's progress. I think Mendez forgot that they were working together. But now this has helped out that 43 come towards the front, but now Nick Smith is to his inside. He's stuck in the middle.
Nick Smith's going to take that advantage away. There's the 79 of Eric Monaco moving on his inside. Shane Lake, the race leader, in the number 77. Joe Rutkowski is off the pace. John Arndt is a lap down. Jesse Turner also off the pace. And Skylar Perry is out of the race. Number 45. Other than that, everybody else in this lead pack. 31 trucks strong right here at Talladega, and every one of them has a shot at this race victory. Halfway to the Cookout 250 at Talladega. Shane Lake holding on ahead of Eric Monaco. There goes Emily Anderson to the inside. Joshua Rush and Jason Tucker, who's last in the points, looking to get a win, his first win of his career. Can happen anywhere, but Talladega is the place where it's most likely to happen. Anybody has a shot at this race victory here today.
Took the words right out of the mouth there. That's what I love about Talladega. You got underdogs that have a chance to race, and here we go for the lead again. This is Rush inside.
Joshua Rush had a really strong run to Daytona earlier this season. He's going to lead a lap right there, going to bonus point towards the championship. Fisher G's right now in the middle, and that's a pretty safe spot to be in, only unless you get a wreck, of course, but you tend to not lose too much ground if you're in the middle lane when they're going 3 wide, but he is losing some ground there. So we'll have to see what happens with the 43 as this race goes along. Of course, he can finish as low as 35th in this race if he gets knocked out in a wreck. But we'll have to see how it all shakes out for him as this race goes along. As long as he doesn't wreck in this race, I think he's going to probably win the championship. But you cannot count out Mendez and Dan Park, and right now they're both in a 4-wide situation. They got to be careful right here. Oh,
yeah,
man, they almost got into each other right there, but they kept it together. Dan Park on the inside of Edwin Mendez, and they're going to figure it out somehow. But they cannot be racing like that. They cannot wreck him this race. If they wreck him this race, they're going to give that championship right over to Fisher G.
Yeah, you know, that 94 car, something happened in turn 3 and 4. I think he got tight a little bit. You know, this asphalt here at Talladega, you know, got repaid in like 2006 or something. But I think he just got tight in 3 and 4 and caused it to be a 4-wide situation. But all those drivers handled it perfectly.
And Madison Toll there in the 54 machine. She was involved in an accident. She has a little bit of damage. I'm wondering if that's hurting her performance there. And now you got Mendez and Dan Park. Dan Park's ahead of Fisher G now. And Mendez looking to get to the inside of the 43 machine. Meanwhile, Alexander Rowe, he got one win at the Rockingham Motors Speedway in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series this year, but we have not even talked about him this season in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Pretty much almost forgotten that he was even in the series. It's how bad it's been for this team, but there they go. They're the race leaders right now. Alexander Rowe doing a great job. Of course, he's a Napa fan veteran. He's done a great job in his career, and he'd love to get a Truck Series race victory here today. And all of a sudden, Dan Park's inside the top 5, but he's going to get shuffled to the outside lane, and that's going to hurt his performance right there. Mendez, however, is moving up in the 63. Remember, he got that win at Pocono week and a half ago. Trying to ride that momentum here today at Talladega. Watch out there. Matt Tuck on the inside of Fisher G. I'm wondering if Tuck has a problem. There's a gap right there in the inside lane. Logan and Kukulon move to the inside right there. It looks like the 98's going to join right back in with the rest of the pack.
I think someone was just going on with that engine, but we got a battle for the race lead, and that's that underdog down low, getting by roll to take the lead.
Matthew Brown in the number 57's yet to win a race this season for Andrews Racing. Trey Smith won at Bristol, led every lap in the race. He's going for his second win of the season. Here comes Mr. Edge himself, Nicholas Samadio, but he's going to shovel to the middle lane. And Mendez is on a mission in the number 63, working that inside lane now on Alexander Rowe. Mendez knows he's got a huge opportunity if the cards fall in his favor, but he might be moving up a little too early. We'll have to see how it all shakes out. Alexander Rowe way up the racetrack there, but we remain three wide by the majority of the field. Matthew Brown at lap 17.
Well, this is a good thing right now for Mendez. Like I said, coming in, gotta be near the front and stay at the front as long as possible. You cannot get shoved out of the draft, especially if you're Edwin Mendez. Now, where's Fisher G at the moment? He's not even in the top 10 on the scoreboard. I think he's in the back of the pack.
He just moved to the inside lane back in there. That's huge for Fisher G. Dale Lightning with a full head of steam to the inside of Edwin Mendez. Mendez will not get a lap led here, so that's going to affect the 63. But Mendez might still get the most laps led in the race, which would award him a bonus point towards the championship. Dale Lightning. Now the new race leader, Chase Marks to the inside. Here comes Trey Barcho, Matthew Logan also. And somebody with an issue.
Oh,
somebody, that's Matt Tuck, and we saw him have an issue earlier on. That's going to split the pack up. And Matt Tuck going to hold up Fisher G just a little bit right there. We'll have to see how that affects the finishing results. But the 98 with a huge issue. It's a tough break for him right there.
He was having an issue about a lap or two ago, and yeah, you called it there. Now, can this second pack here get a draft up? If you look at the laps right now, they're going to need a caution right now, because if we cross the line, we have a race right now, because there's 6 laps to go.
Yeah, so we're within the range. If we get a caution, the race will end, and Fisher G is in that second pack on the outside lane. They're about to catch up to Joe Rutkowski here. This is the perfect scenario for Edwin Mendez. We're going to have to see how it all shakes out for him. And all of a sudden, Madison Tall, with all her damage, gets into Rutkowski and the outside wall and around. No caution yet. There goes the yellow flag. Will Fisher G get involved? No, he won't. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Here we go. Race back to the line here at Talladega. Madison Tall tried to take the race lead, but got into Joe Rutkowski as they were trying to lap him. And Matthew Brown for Andrews Racing is the new race leader. However, Edwin Mendez is here in the 63. But that's not going to be enough. Matthew Brown in the 57. That'll be a good win there for John Andrews and his team. They cross the line first under the yellow. Mendez will take second. Great run for the 63 machine. And I will say this, Fisher G will not clinch the championship today. But he did a heck of a job to stay right with it. No damage on the 43. And that, my friend, is why he has a 70-point lead coming into this race.
That is, what a car, what a drive, and what... I know he didn't clinch the title, but man, oh man, I was on the edge of my seat with that.
It looks like...
Wait a second.
Oh, we gotta see. Oh, that's not good. They jammed it up down the backstretch, and he's got damage now.
He may have to come in.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he has to come down and repair that. That might affect him there, but a lot of guys are out already, so that's only going to cost him a couple of positions if he does have to come in. Right now sits 22nd on the racetrack, so that means that Mendez is going to close in by 22 points probably. Yeah. He led the most laps in this race. Now what Mendez wants to see is that 57 blowing up. Then he's going to inherit the race lead and get the race win. So it's not official yet. But we're going to see what happened. It was a huge wreck there as Madison Toll tried to get to the inside of Rutkowski. Rutkowski blocked her. And all heck broke loose there at the end. We'll actually see if Fisher G is coming down. He is.
So maybe he may lose one spot depending on what happens with the 94.
He's going to lose a couple of positions here, but he might go out of the race.
He is. No.
They're not doing anything right now. They're staying on the pit lane, but we're going to have to monitor that. He's back out there. They took the hood off, so...
And he'll actually gain spots out of that because Fitzy...
Well, you got John Art and Turner back in there that are going to pass him. Well, John Art's a lap down, but Turner's going to pass him, so he's probably going to remain relatively in the same position.
Let's see, where is he? 23rd, it says on the... No, 21st. So he picked up a spot.
He did. So it actually worked out for Fisher G right there. Still, though, Mendes going to gain about 21 points. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the caution here at Talladega to end the race under the yellow flag for the second straight race in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. And Joe Rutkowski puts the block on Madison Toll, and I can imagine that Toll's not going to be happy with the 64. And Chase Marks has nowhere to go. Trey Bartow avoids it. Good job out of the veteran driver right there. And the caution took a while to come out. At this point, they were still green, but this is where it all gets worse. Kukalon right into the 54. She comes down on Ace Garcia. Adam Garcia also there. Seth Cole. Williamson hopped the apron as he tried to avoid it. Cole went upside down. And then Andrew Ross in the 22. We saw a massive flip out of Cole Sampson last week. It's the Railfan Motorsports machine of Andrew Ross taking a wild ride this time at Talladega.
That reminds me a lot of Scott Wimmer's accident, kind of, in Daytona in 2005. What a vicious flip for the 22.
And Seth Cole joining him as drivers upside down here at Dega.
Pretty much simple right here. Rutkowski came down on Tall. Would not be surprised if this is confrontation in the garage after the race. But the caution comes out right there, obviously, because Tall wasn't 90 degrees over. But if you go back as well, man, that 22, that's just worse in real time. But if you go back to that 43 of Fisher G, when does he slow down? Like, about right here is when he gets on the brakes, but then he goes hard in. I don't know how he misses. I think that's the 24 it is. And that 54. That's one of the best avoidances I've seen in a long time. Fisher G, definitely, man, he must have had a heart attack in that car ride. Holy cow. Or he was on Duncan.
Well, either way, Mr. G did a great job, but Matthew Brown did the best job. He was just in the right place at the right time, avoided the accident, and he is going to be a race leader only unless he has an issue. Now, remember about Talladega, we have a lot of engine failures here usually because they rev these things up so much, so it's not over yet. But we'll go ahead and give you the official finish here, the Cookout 250 from Talladega. And it does appear that everything is going to be fine for Matthew Brown. Andrews Racing, the owner. John Andrews going to get his first win as an owner. Great job out of Matthew Brown here today at Talladega, and just got in the right place at the right time. But hats off to Edwin Mendez as well. He's going to get a good run out of this one, and he's going to gain on Fisher G. Going to be about 50 points off of Fisher G, roughly, heading into Darlington. But Matthew Brown wins the Cookout 250 at Talladega. He's your race winner here at the 16th race of the season. My assumption is that Fisher G is going to have a 51-point lead heading into Darlington on Saturday. I believe Mendez led the most laps in this race. Not 100% sure about that. We'll have to see. But, take a look at the official standings right there. Matthew Brown, the race winner. Edwin Mendez in second. Matthew Logan, a great run for him. Trey Smith, Dale Lightning, and you know what? I didn't even notice Dan Park there in 6th. Dan Park with a 6th place run. He's also going to be up there. I don't think he led any laps, but he's going to be pretty close, relatively speaking. Still have a shot. Monaco, Nwangwu, also top 10 runs for those guys. But Matthew Brown, the star of the show here at Talladega. And Fisher G holding on to the points lead right there. As you see the points, roughly about 50 points, 51 points ahead of Edwin Mendez. And if he leaves Darlington with a 41-point lead or higher, he'll clinch the championship at Darlington. And somebody else clinched a championship there back in September. Actually, it was August, late August, but you know who I'm talking about. It was Nathan Baird, and Fisher T's season here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series is very much like Nathan Baird's season that he had in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series over the summer. I'm going to ask you, Marty, what are the odds that Fisher T is going to clinch the championship at Darlington on Saturday?
Well, right now, because you said the gap is about 51 at the moment, I think chances right now for him are very high. As long as he doesn't get involved in a wreck next Saturday at the Lady in Black of Darlington, Carolina, I think he'll be all good. Just keep that nose clean, keep the entire car clean, and he's probably gonna have a chance for it. And he's probably gonna have a good chance at clinching the title.
We're gonna have to see what happens. And like I mentioned, Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern, it's the Mellow Yellow 0200. It's a short race. Keep in mind, one of the shorter races of the season, but it's the penultimate race of the season, and that means that a lot's gonna go down. Of course, next season, if we do the Turkey Hill Truck Series, Darlington's actually going to be the finale. And Darlington's going to be the finale in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series next year. So we got a really big year coming up in 2020. But still, going to be an interesting race on Saturday morning. And then, of course, Christmas Day, it's the finale. The New Era 259 at Homestead. We'll have to see how it all goes down. Only 3 races remaining on the year for Napa Fan. We got the Christmas Eve 500 special event as well, but only 2 races left in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. We'll finish off the year at Homestead on Christmas Day. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Matthew Brown. I almost said Edwin Mendez for some reason, because I'm focusing on right now. But congratulations to Matthew Brown, your race winner here at Talladega. We will see you guys next time at Darlington. Not next week, but next time. I hate it when I do these things. And I do races weekly until a certain point in the season, and I do 2 races, and it just throws everything off. But Saturday, we'll see you for Darlington, the Mellow Yellow 0200. We'll have to see if Fisher T clinches a championship here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. He hasn't done it yet. We'll have to see if Edwin Mendez can strike, or maybe even Dan Park in this championship. Thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Matthew Brown on behalf of Marty Zakela. I will see you guys later.